Okay, here we go. This is some help with the practice problems for midpoint and distance. I think I might take a look at the odd problems and you guys can try the even problems. For number one, I'm going to zoom way in here. We could certainly look at these points here, right? Like this is over 5 up 3. So that is at 0.53, and we could look at this point and it is over 5 down 1. Okay, we could certainly use our formula, right? Call this x1, y1, x2, y2, and use our formula. But this one's pretty convenient because it looks like the middle is right here. It's 2 spots away going up, 2 spots away going down. So that is your midpoint right there. So we don't even have to do anything, any math for this one, or use a formula. So this is just at point over 5 to the right, which is positive, up, which is positive. So this is at 0.51. Okay. All right, the next few, I think I'll go over here, give myself some room. We're finding the midpoint. We don't have a grid for these, so we're going to use the formula. Okay, here is the formula. It's just x1 plus x2 divided by 2, or over 2, and then y1 plus y2 divided by 2. All right, so we can just go ahead and add our x's. It doesn't really matter the which point you decide is your x1, or which is your first set of points and which is your second. You just have to be consistent with it. So it's just easier. These are the first ones, make them the first points. Okay, so we just follow our formula. X1, 0, plus x2, 0, over 2, and y1, 6, plus y2, negative 2, over 2. Well, this is going to be 0 over 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0. That's easy. And 6 plus negative 2 is 4 over 2, which then we can convert this into, right, this is just 4 divided by 2. So our final answer is going to be 0, 2. All right. Okay, same thing here. Yep, there we go. I'm going to erase this, pause the video if you need to. Okay. All right, x1, y1, x2, y2. I'm just going to add up my x's. x1 plus x2 over 2, comma, y1 plus y2 over 2. So 4 plus 5, that's 9 over 2. Negative 3 plus 5, that's 2 over 2. And we'll go ahead and convert these. 2 can go into 9 4 times with 1 left over, so it looks like this is going to convert to 4.5, and 2 over 2 reduces down to 1. Okay, so the answers there is 4.5 and 1. And you should definitely convert these into mixed numbers, okay? Because when I look at an improper fraction like 9 over 2, it's not really easy to just look at right away and know exactly where that's at. 4.5, when I look on a graph, like I know, okay, well here's 4, and then a half is just, halfway over to the next number. Okay, so that's why it just makes more sense to convert that into a decimal. Okay. Number 7, same thing here. We just have to actually write these points out. So this point here, we go back 1, which is negative, up 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to call this our point, our first set of points. So x1, y1, and this one here. So we're going to go all the way over to 5 and then down to 5. So this is going to be positive 5, negative 5, and I'm going to call this my x2, y2. All right, so now I just, again, follow the formula. You can definitely have your formula. I'm going to give you the formula on the quiz. You can definitely use it, and you should use it on the quiz. So just use your formula, plug in the numbers, use a calculator to solve. So we just add up our x's, -1 plus 5 over 2. Add up our y's, 4 plus -5 over 2. And so we get -1 plus 5, that's 4 over 2. And 4 plus a -5, that's going to be -1 over 2. And so we're going to just convert these. We get 4 divided by 2, that's 2. And -1/2, we're going to call that -0.5. All right. Okay, that is midpoint. Midpoint is pretty straightforward because you're just kind of adding up the x's and the y. It doesn't really matter. Distance formula, there is that little bit of a twist that we have to use the second. We do the second points first. So let's write this formula out. So distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And then we take the square root of the whole thing. So here is where it's super important to label on top x1, y1, x2, y2, and then we just follow the formula. So we've got x2, that's right here, so 1, all right. And if you want to go ahead and write this all under the radicand, you can to remind yourself. So we've got x2 is 1 minus, because that's what the formula tells you, and then x1 is -4. So make sure you put that in parentheses. That'll remind yourself. You have to change these signs. Still have to square this. Plus y2 is -5 minus y1 is 5. And we square that. So now we just simplify underneath here. We're going to add those together, or change this sign. So we change the sign in the parentheses as well. So we get 1 plus 4, which is 5. And we got to square it still. Plus -5 minus 5. This is going to be -10 squared. So now we're going to square these. 5 times 5 is 25. Plus -10 times -10. This is going to be a positive 100. And we'll add these together. We get 125. And don't forget, we're still under this radicand, so we got to drop this down. We have to take the square root of 125. So I'm just going to type that into my calculator, hit the second key, hit the x squared button. Now I got my radicand in there, put 125 in, press enter, and I get 5 times the square root of 5. And that is your answer. I believe the test will look like this. If you want the decimal equivalent, you could hit your double arrow key in the bottom right hand corner, and that is 11.18. All right, let's do number 13. Okay, so there's an example of how you do one of those. We just have to label it out, and then we're just, as long as you plug the numbers in correctly, then use your calculator. Just kind of go slowly with these problems. All right, number 13. We need to put these points out. So this point right here, we're going back 4. So this is -4 and down 1, -1. Okay, so I'm going to write this up here. -4, -1, x1, y1. That'll be my first set of points. And then this point here, 4. We go over 4 and up 3. So this is 0.43. So So I'm going to write this for 3, x1, y2. Whoops, sorry, x2, y2, sorry. There we go. All right, I'm going to rewrite the formula for you here. All right, d is equal to the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Okay, so now we just go ahead and plug these numbers in. So I'm going to plug them right underneath here. So x2 is right here, 4. So why don't I put this big radicand here, 4 minus x1 is negative 4, so we need to put this in parentheses. So we've got to square it, plus y2 is 3 minus y1, and we got to square that. Okay, so now from here you can, I wouldn't try to type this whole thing in because chances are you're going to mess something up. It's going to say syntax error. Just try to simplify underneath here. Just kind of go slowly. Like I would just simplify here in your calculator, write it down, simplify here, write it down, and go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and do 4 minus negative 4, which is the same as adding a positive, right? Subtracting a negative, same as adding a positive. So we get 8, and we're going to square it still, plus 3 minus negative 1. So we're going to change that to positive as well. So that's 3 plus 1, which is 4, and we're going to square it. And now we get 8 squared, which is just 8 times 8, which is 64, plus 4 squared, which is 4 times 4, so that's 16. And we add them together. We get 80. And again, don't forget this step. We're still underneath this square root symbol, right? So this is actually, you've just simplified underneath. So this, we need to still find what is the square root of 80. Again, just type this into your calculator and you should get 4 times the square root of 5, and that is your answer. Okay. All right, I only have a few minutes left, so I probably don't have time to do another one of these videos. But they're all basically the same thing. You're just typing these, you're just substituting out the numbers for the letters, right, the variables, and then you're just solving. So really we just need a lot of practice with this. So just give these even problems and the odd problems that I didn't get to a shot, and if you need help, meet me on my Google Meet. All right, good luck.